lockdowns and increased security amid a wave of threats following the shooting. Color of Change, an online racial justice organization, took to Instagram to share news of the threats, writing, quote, "The last few days in this country have been filled with violence and tragedy. Our political landscape has become rife with rage, grief, and uncertainty. But what remains consistent is that Black people are the first targets during political unrest. Even when the perpetrators of political violence are unknown, our communities bear the consequences." Robbie Owens, CBS News, Texas.
Right? Constant fighting, division, and disputes, man. So Habakkuk, he asked the Most High, why you let me witness so much of this wickedness without stopping it? And that makes us angry too, man. Where is our Heavenly Father to deliver us, man? We ready for salvation, man. We tired of seeing the destruction of our people, man. Verse 4, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doeth never go forth, for the wicked do compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Right? The law is slack. The Torah, the laws of the Most High, the commandments. They neglect the commandments. They don't enforce the commandments. And justice is basically paralyzed, man. Ain't no justice out here in Babylon. Our people get put to death. Don't nobody get punished for killing us. Right? The brother got hung at the university. They say there is no suspected foul play. And they say that about every nigga that get hung in America and today, in this time that we living in right now. They say there is no suspected foul play. Oh, he must have hung himself. Right? Judgment doeth never go forth. The courts and the leaders of Babylon, they failed to give fair rulings in the judicial system. Righteousness is suppressed, right? It says, for the wicked doeth compass the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth, right? The wicked doeth compass the righteous, meaning the wicked surrounds, overpower, and dominate the godly over here in Babylon and across the four corners of the earth, man. It says, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth, meaning the legal system is corrupted, right? The ruling favors the guilty instead of the innocent. So yes, we are angry and we are exposing the wickedness of this society. And the Edomites and the other nations, they are angry with us for telling the truth and being bold with it, right? So I'm gonna quickly address this false debunk that this Edomite put this little video together to try to slander and mock the children of Israel, man. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And we're going to get the clear understanding of what this verse truly means, man. Right? Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and it reads, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. That means slave men and slave women, and no man shall buy you. Right? So he said that in 70 AD, when we was ran out of Jerusalem, the children of Israel, the Israelites, we was ran out of our homeland in 70 AD. He said that Israelites went on ships and went back to Egypt into slavery. And that's simply not true, right? When we scattered out of Jerusalem, yes, we were scattered to the four corners of the earth. So some of our people did end up in Egypt, right? A few of our people did end up in Egypt, but they didn't go back into Egypt on slave ships in 70 AD, right? Egypt, the word Egypt is synonymous to the house of bondage according to the scripture. Egypt just means house of slavery, right? And right now we are in spiritual Egypt. pertaining to Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 8th verse, right? When he said we are in that great city, which is America, is known as spiritual Sodom and spiritual Egypt, the spiritual house of bondage, right? Let's prove that Egypt is the house of bondage according to the Bible. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 3. The book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 3, and it reads, "And Moses said unto the people, Remember this day in which ye came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." So Egypt is a representation of the house of bondage. "For by strength of my hand the Lord Yahweh brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten." Right? So Egypt is synonymous to the house of bondage. Let's jump down to the 14th verse. Exodus chapter 13 and verse 14, and it reads, "And it shall be when thy son asketh thee in the time to come, saying, What is this? That thou shalt say unto him, By the strength of the hand of the Lord Yahweh brought us out from Egypt, from the house of bondage." Egypt is the house of bondage, right? And we didn't literally go back to Egypt on slave ships. Salakia, we didn't literally leave from Jerusalem in 70 AD and there was a slave trade and we went to Egypt on that slave trade. No, we came to America, which is known as spiritual Egypt, meaning we are spiritually in the house of bondage over here in America. Right? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 5, and let's go down to verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 6, and it reads, "I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage." Right? That's all Egypt means, man. It means the house of bondage. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and 8. Right? Because this cracker went to cherry picking scriptures and didn't break nothing down. Right? Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 8, and it reads, "But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondman, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt." Right? So the Most High brought us out of the house of the bondman, the house of the slave man. Right? He brought us out of the house of bondage, the house of slavery, right? From the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, the king of the house of bondage, right? And there's no difference than us being over here in America and us being slaves over here in America. No, we're not field slaves anymore. We are industrial slaves right now, man. You in debt slavery, right? You in financial slavery. You in spiritual slavery. You in mental slavery. You are subject to making payments. You are slaves to paying bills, right? You're still in slavery. You're still in the house of bondage, right? Even though you can freely drive around and go city to city, right? Even though you got a bank account full of money, your ass is still in slavery, man. Right? So let's jump to the 26th chapter, Deuteronomy 26. And let's go down to the 6th verse. And it reads, "And the Egyptians evil entreated us, and afflicted us, and laid upon us hard bondage." Verse 7, "And when we cried unto the Lord Yahweh, God of our fathers, the Lord Yahweh heard our voice, and looked on our afflictions, and our labor, and our oppression." Verse 8, "And the Lord Yahweh brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand, and with the outreach arm, and with great terribleness, and with signs and with wonders. Right? So
God, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to our elders. Shalom to all the senior men and captains of HOI. Shalom to all the brothers doing the work, putting in this work in righteousness, following the law, statutes, commandments to the best of their ability. Kwam Yashala, we got next. Shalom to all the sisters, handling their business, doing what it is they supposed to do in these last days. All right. Teaching the children, reading scriptures. So, that was Kodash Alahayim out of HOI Las Vegas. Mighty man doing the work, bringing it out. So it's a mighty lesson that he put up. So, check him out, HOI Las Vegas. Make sure you go subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, and share to his channels, to his videos. You won't be disappointed. All right, so this I'm your host for this evening, Kasadia. About to give a lesson called Congregation of Hypocrites, and I wonder who this is about. I wonder who this could be about. The Congregation of Hypocrites. Let's get the definitions while we're here. Okay, congregation, company, assembly, people, multitude. Okay, and hypocrite, soiled, that is, with sin. Hypocrite. Just a bucket of sin, congregation of sinners, right? And also, let me continue on. Impious. Let's get that definition. Pious. Not showing respect or reverence, especially for God. You know what I'm saying? And this is also, it says, a person or act wicked. No respect, you know what I'm saying? So, we're going to talk about it, okay? We're going to talk about it. And let's get a modern definition of the word hypocrite. Hypocrite definition. A person who indulges in hypocrisy. All right, that's not really a good definition, right? Let's go down further. A person who puts on a false appearance of virtue or religion. That would definitely be the Edomites. They put on a false appearance of virtue, like they are so holy that what they say is the end all be all. I said it, so that's it. Nobody can say anything else. Somebody that was extremely racist and divisive during their days here on the planet passes away, and Esau said he was not. He was a great person. He loved everybody. He tried to bring people together. He was extremely tolerant. He listened to people's opinions, and that's why he was doing what he was doing. He was just trying to, get people to think or something to that effect. But everybody else is looking like, see a real of this person and say, that's the same person? That's him? What do you name? Stiff Kurt? This the same person that you said is tolerant and a decent person? It's a congregation of hypocrites, the people full of hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they got that like that overnight. This is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Went into America, shook hands with the Native Americans, 90 million of them, killed a substantial percentage of them. Substantial percentage of 90 million dead by the hands of the Edomites. And then you make movies saying that they're savages. You know, of course, you can't play, a Native American can't play in the movies because he killed them all. So you got to get a white man to get his face all dialed up or whatever. And he's the Native American, he's the savage and has to save the town from these crazy savages that in reality we're just trying to help you, help you survive the winters. You gave them smallpox blankets. Your history speaks for itself. You know what I mean? I could be here all night talking about the history and hypocrisy that spews out of this man's mouth, and nothing has changed. Nothing. Okay, so let's begin. First off, I have to say Fair Use Act, Fair Use Act. This video is protected by the Fair Use Act. Don't give me a copyright ban if I'm saying Fair Use Act, which they did the last video. The Fair Use Act is for educational purposes only. You wrote the law, follow your own laws. Like I said, the congregation of hypocrites. How you give me a copyright ban every time I speak before I start putting any videos? I say Fair Use Act, and I put it in the description. They're like, too much information on that one. We're gonna have to do a copyright ban on that. That's Esau, okay? But let's start because, we're not the only ones that see this, but we're definitely gonna push it and let people know who the son of perdition is. We're gonna start with Job chapter 15 and verse 30. All right.
Khan, Shalom. Can you hear me?
Shalom. Khan.
Okay, Khan. This is the book of Job, chapter 15, and verse number 30.
Khan.
Job, chapter 15, and verse 30. He shall not depart out of darkness. The flame shall dry up his branches, and by the breath of his mouth shall he go away.
Khan. All right. So we talking about the so-called white man, evil, wicked, diabolical. Okay. He shall not depart out of darkness. Okay. He's always going to be that way. He's always going to be the son of perdition. He's always going to be the villain. Okay. And the Most High is going to judge him for that. Read on.
Khan. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense.
Khan. So the Most High is going to pay him back in his own vanity, in his own vain, the vanity that he pushes out. He's going to get a recompense with that. Go ahead.
Khan. It shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be green.
Khan. So he's only 31. Why? He was so young. Yeah, you're not gonna live out your years. You're not gonna be able to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. The Most High God is gonna pluck you out of this earth. Read on.
He shall shake off his unripe grape as the vine, and shall cast off his flower as the olive.
Khan. Same thing. You know what I mean? He's before his time, he's gonna be taken out of here. Go ahead, read on 35, 34.
For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery.
Khan. All right. So that company, that people, that assembly of hypocrites are going to be desolate. Okay. We're seeing the plucking down of the top generals of hypocrisy. You got your, oh man, I love it, brother. USA, Hulk Hogan. That was a bad Hulk Hogan, I get it. But he ain't here no more, so it don't matter. So the Hulkster gone, the Pope deceased, Charlie Kirk no longer with us. Okay. And somebody else. Okay. The funny part is I just can't remember. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can see how, this is gonna be like in the kingdom, most high willing we all make it. We're gonna be sitting there like, remember such and such? Like who? The boy, the boy. I don't remember him. You know what I'm saying? It's already you're already being they're already being a memory, uh, uh a wave that passed by a ship. Who remembers that wave? You know what I mean? Yahweh Shai talks about, there's like spittle, like a drop from a vessel. It's like I forgot that I spilled my drink. You know what I mean? That's them. That's how unimportant they are. Okay. But they in their mind, they think they're the most important people on the face of the planet. Well, the Most High God is going to show them that they're not. Their fall from grace is going to be historic. Okay. Can you finish that out? 35?
Verse 35. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit.
Con. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. Everything about them is wicked, evil, and Slakia, the Most High God is going to pay him back. Well, continue to pay him back. Let's check out how a little bit of hypocrisy, because everybody said this guy is the best guy in the world. You know what I mean? He can do nothing wrong and all that, And my question to you is, I'm gonna think of a time where you can remember a level of hypocrisy that made you say, "Wow, like really?" Did you forget you said that? Did you forget that? You know, um, did you forget? You stood on something and you immediately flip flopped. Okay, so if you could think of something, jot it down, and we're gonna talk about it after this video. All right.
Things that he actually believed and things he There's been a huge effort to sanitize Charlie Kirk's image over the past week by ignoring things that he actually believed and things he actually said on his show. So, with just a few videos of Charlie Kirk's own words, I want to serve as a narrative disruptor, somebody who comes in and disrupts this right-wing narrative that Charlie Kirk was this peaceful civil rights activist who would never utter a word of violence or hatred in his life. That is just objectively false. And I'll prove that to be false in just 1 second. But just to start off with some moral clarity, none of the clips I play here justify what happened to Charlie Kirk. Two things can be true at once. He was a terrible person who held terrible beliefs, and I can show that. I can prove that throughout this video. At the same time, nobody in America should be straight up killed for doing a debate on a college campus. These two things can both be true at once, and we need to approach this with.
And that's true. Shout out to Malcolm X. Shout out to Martin Luther King. Shout out to Huey Newton. Shout out to Bobby Hutton. Shout out to Medgar Evers. Shout out to Fred Hampton. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, nobody should, but it does. And it happens to us. Now we can see the changing of the guard commencing, and now it's happening to them. They don't really know how to take it. They're trying to fire people, censorship, all that. But that doesn't stop the truth from being the truth. Let's continue.
Moral clarity. Was he a dumbass? Yes, absolutely. Did he deserve to be shot in front of everybody for being a dumbass? No. Nobody deserves that. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, I want to play for you these clips. I decided to wait a few days because conservatives have been just going after everybody who even mentions Charlie Kirk in a negative light. But we're a few days out now. I have a platform. I'm going to use this platform. Right wingers be damned. I don't care if they come after me because all I'm doing is playing Charlie Kirk's own words. I just want to show you what he said himself so the sanitization doesn't continue to go mainstream. Before we play this clip of him calling for the execution of President Joe Biden, yes, that's right, he called for the execution of Joe Biden. Let me just start off with old Charlie Kirk arguing that essentially children should not get free lunch in schools, even if they need it.
Do you think that there should be free school lunch for all children? No. Why? Of course not. Because parents should feed their kids, not the government. What if they can't? Go get a job. A child? You know, the parents should go get the job. Yeah. This is important. I don't believe they have jobs and they can't support their children there because the minimum wage is so low. No, you are a temp, dude. Don't give me this stuff. First of all, this is really. I want children to eat. Of course I do. Show me a single child in America going hungry. Doesn't exist. Number two, we have churches, we have food shelters, we have billions, and it does not exist. We have a child obesity problem, not a child starvation problem in this country. That's the type of guy he was. The absolute worst.
Charlie Kirk is also just horrifically wrong here. I mean, even if there are some obese kids, I'm sure there are in every country, that doesn't stop the fact that many American children have a problem with lack of nutrition. And it gets even worse when it's lack of nutrition at school during the school day. Because here's the problem. A lot of kids rely on this school lunch for their only lunch. When their parents don't feed them and they are starved, they rely on this school lunch. Without this school lunch, there are studies that kids are way less effective at studying, at retaining information, at just being able to function on a day-to-day basis. So just to back up, if you want a good, functional society, kids should not be starving, especially at school. Kids should be able to eat. And sometimes school is the last refuge for a kid who has a poor home life and isn't able to be fed properly at home. So the fact that Charlie Kirk has no empathy at all, it's just like, dude, this is the savior of the movement. Let me play for you this clip of him saying that Joe Biden should be executed. Before I even play it, I've been thinking over the past few days of posting a video on Twitter and Instagram just to mess with right wingers. And in this video, I want to take Charlie Kirk's words, but just flip out Joe Biden for Trump. So in this clip, he essentially says Joe Biden is an old idiot who deserves the death penalty, right? How angry would MAGA be if I made a video and I said Trump deserves the death penalty? Like, let me just play this for you.
Joe Biden, a lot. I mean, Joe Biden is a bumbling, dementia-filled Alzheimer's, corrupt tyrant who should honestly be put in prison and or given the death penalty for his crimes in America.
Donald Trump is a bumbling, dementia-filled tyrant who honestly should be put in prison for the rest of his life or given the death penalty for his crimes against humanity. Yeah, it doesn't sound so good when I say it, conservatives, huh?
Honestly, be put in prison and or given the death penalty for his crimes against America. But Kamala Harris, my goodness, there's something that just kind of is tribal where people are like,
This is your peaceful savior? He was calling for the execution of the president of the United States. Your peaceful savior was sitting there. I'm not saying to you guys, to the right wingers who are watching. Their peaceful savior is sitting there on these shows and calling for the execution of the president of the United States. And then right after all of the shooting stuff happened, Nancy Mace gave a speech last night at the Kennedy Center. And I want to play for you some clips from this Nancy Mace speech because she continues to spread and foment violence. But quickly, Mehdi Hassan said in response to Scott Adams, who was like, wait until all the haters of Charlie Kirk find out their anger is based entirely on quotes taken out of context. Mehdi Hassan was like, sorry, what's the context for Kirk saying that, quote, Joe Biden is a bumbling, dementia-filled Alzheimer's corrupt tyrant who should be put in prison or given the death penalty? Or what about just last week when Charlie Kirk said, quote, Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America? Like, this is insanely inflammatory rhetoric. And this is coming from people like Charlie Kirk, coming from people like Donald Trump in a top-down manner. I could keep going. Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, all of these people in a top-down manner are spreading this type of rhetoric. Yet they pull up some random Twitter account with 0 likes and act like that represents every Democratic politician. It's just like random Twitter accounts who are saying crazy stuff. And Republicans are acting like that is every single Democrat. Maya Luna, responds to Benny Johnson. So right wingers are trying to concoct this entirely new narrative that because Tyler Robinson may have lived with somebody who was going to transition and was maybe transgender, that means this is a trans affiliated crime. What are we doing here? Benny Johnson says Charlie Kirk killer, Tyler Robinson, had a boyfriend who was transgender. This man is cooperating with the FBI and has turned over all messages. Maya's like, so let me get this straight. The violence is coming from Tyler's transgender girlfriend, who is also just cooperating with the police, and not the white dude who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to spin this into some issue where they can punch down at the most vulnerable communities when it's just another white dude. It's just the same thing that we've seen over and over. In fact, this dude was raised in a Republican family around guns. And it's not surprising that after a few years of internet radicalization, those guns came back around in his life and manifested into this. Now,
so of course as we can see, right? We got a lot of hypocrisy, you know what I'm saying? I thought we were the gangsters, the criminals, the thugs. But Mr. Kurt was talking about deleting the president. I don't think you can say that. I don't even want to. Did I say that? You can't say that without having somebody knock at your door saying, boom, 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 open the door, ATF. You know what I'm saying? But allegedly, apparently, he was allowed to say that and get away with it. I'm pretty sure that's what we call white privilege. You know? Does anybody else have any hypocrisy filled well, not filled. We don't want to go too far and have a long drawn out story, but any hypocrisy you can think of coming from this government, want to share with everybody? Please. Please do.
Hey, shalom, shalom, Mark.
So,
Can you hear me?
Khan.
Man, Lord of mercy, man. Like when the Lord said, the book of Job, a congregation of hypocrites. The brother Hashar did a lesson yesterday, and we was talking about pertaining to Trump and how the brother that got killed on the train in Manhattan, the brother that was, performing like Michael Jackson.
Khan.
And Edomite Marine used an illegal technique to choke him and kill him, right? And as you see later on, instead of them putting him in prison, they had his face on the news, and he kept defending him. Oh, he's fighting for his life. It was a safe tactic. It was a safe technique. They teach him in the military this technique. But I spoke to a brother that used to be in the military, and he told me the technique that the dude used is used to kill. Is used to kill, especially the person know how to hold a specific technique. It's like they said, like a full Nelson. If you put enough pressure on somebody's neck and you have the strength and you know where to attack towards, you can kill them. Right? And this person I spoke to was a brother Hashar. He used to be in the military. So if you're dealing with something pertaining to people in the military or the Marines, go and speak to somebody that used to be in that lifestyle, and they can tell you the ins and outs. So the Edomite killed that brother on the train, and they try to defend that Edomite and justify him by saying he was a Marine. He fought for the country, he fought for the nation, he protected people. So, what he did was right. And that black guy, mind you, who was going through trauma, PTSD, right? Post-traumatic stress, all of this stuff, right? He had issues in the mind, as you would say, right? They just pushed it to the side nonchalant. Because it was the Marine guy. And mind you, have you seen so many movies, the best soldiers that they pick is ones that always have issues. Right?
God.
That got a little something up there in them. Because they tell them to go do this, go kill that. They're not going to hesitate. They already got a lot of built up anger, so they're looking at ways to try to release it. Right? So Esau turned these killers into soldiers for his army and military. Now they come back to society and they don't know how to operate around people, especially if they're racist. So he killed the innocent black man on the train, and America protected that Marine and justified it. But that innocent man, they just neglect everything about him.
Salakia, that hypocrisy of saying only Esau can say that he's going through it, that he's mentally ill.
Right.
We don't know what he was going through. It seems like he was dealing with a lot of issues and stuff. It's like, oh, there it is. That's the reason why it happened. Jake says mentally ill. It's like, yeah, whatever, nigga. Let's say we want to put that mentally ill behind an electric chair. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Very hypocritical people they are, you know?
Shalakia.
Yeah, King.
Also, the hypocrisy is that you remember that they gave that white dude a huge GoFundMe for his defense. And also, he's like a big executive for Clubhouse now. So they rewarded that man. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is to live in Esau's kingdom.
Excellent point. If you get caught jaywalking, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, we can't have that on the record. So we're looking at, we went a different direction. You know what I'm saying? This guy literally choked a man out on camera. Everybody's seen it. Everybody on the train seen it. Everybody in the world seen the video. But he gets out, he gets rewarded. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. We immediately go back into, we're already second-class citizens in America, but the caste system of you're at the bottom of the bottom now because we won't even hire you. And that's another thing how Esau plays the game. You know what I'm saying? Once you get like a Kaepernick, you know what I mean? His game was football. He made money playing football. Everybody in that organization, the NFL, says, even though we need a quarterback, if we have him, we're going to do better. Our quarterback just got injured. We'll go further in the playoffs. You know, we actually need a quarterback, but despite everything, they will not put him on the roster. We need him. It'll give me more money, but Esau in that position, he doesn't need more money. You know what I mean? Money's not the number one thing. The money is control, power. You know what I mean? I have power over you. You know, I have power over whether you survive or not. All praises that Kaepernick got I think got like a $90 million Nike deal or something like that. I don't know if it was 90 million. Don't hold me to that. But he got as far as like advertisement goes. But you can see the hypocrisy. The president of the United States has 34 felonies. He could still be president of the United States. Kaepernick took a knee, got called a SOB by the president of the United States, and he couldn't get a job doing what he loved and what he was good at. So when we talk about the congregation of hypocrites, there's one group that stands out far beyond the rest, and that would be Esau and the Edomites. All right, Khan. Well, hold on, Arya, you were you saying something? You're on mute.
No, I remember when Trump said that. He said when they was telling him Kaepernick was like, nah, I ain't gonna take a knee. He made a big press conference about it. He said, you tell that son of a take a damn knee. I'm like, damn.
Right?
He said, you tell that son of a bitch. I'm like, jeez. You close your eyes, you would have thought it was a slave master.
Khan.
And the slave telling him, I ain't gonna be working today, boss. What? You tell that son of a. I'm like, damn. And like who is it? Donald Sterling as well, too.
Khan.
The LA Clippers. You know, Elders Bach did a lesson about that a couple of years ago. He was caught on audio, you know, a lot of racist, derogatory terms and that as well. The nation of hypocrites, man.
Khan. Now it's supposed to be Slovakia, no political violence. But at his rallies, he was saying back in the day, we we put a hold of him and he ain't gonna do that again, huh?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. And and people were elbowing him in the face and everything like that. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? He said if people get arrested, stop being too nice. You grab their head and you hit it against the car. The car. That's what we used to do. I ain't gonna say nothing wrong. You know what I mean? Like this president
Right.
saying you have free range to assault somebody. You know what I mean? President of the United States. And now, no political violence. Why are you guys talking about political violence? We got to stop this. It's a hypocrite, man.
Mm.
Stone cold hypocrite. But things are coming back on him. Do you know what I'm saying? And the things that he must think he's living back in the day where he can do stuff and there's no consequences. He thinks that he can have ICE roll up on people 50, 100 deep and with guns and everything. And people want to say, you know what? Let's go to the United States this year. You know what I mean? I think it's lovely this time of year. The rate of international travel is plummeted, from Canada and around the world. Who wants to come here? You know what I mean? You're here on vacation and you get thrown into a supermax prison. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and he doesn't know why this is happening because we're all watching you in real time play out your Hitler fantasies. Okay,
Uh,
Khan, you want to say something?
nah, I agree, King.
Khan. So we're gonna play the next video with how South Korea sees the president of the United States and um the consequences of this. Okay. And we're gonna get second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 46 because Moab, they swore that they're down. Ammon, they swore that they're down. We can, you know, the, we're much better than the Negroes. We'll go and set up shop in their neighborhoods and sell them dog, rat, cat, and everything else. You know what I mean? Fake plastic rice. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do whatever we want to them because we're better than them and we can make money off of them, right? And they closely aligned with Esau. But just like in the days of Jehoshaphat, they're fighting against each other now. Okay, let's bring that out, King. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 46.
Khan. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 46. And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and are the glory of her person,
Khan, go ahead.
woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee.
Khan, so they're playing the role of Babylon the whore as well. Do you know what I'm saying? You want to be like Esau. I'm the Esau calls you the model minority, and you think that's a good thing. Like, wow, I'm just like the white man. How model minority? They're like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be a point in time where they're gonna turn on you, and the point in time is now. Okay, so let's watch this video um, of what happened not too long ago in Georgia. They ran in there deep and got them out of there. Let's watch it.
Donald Trump realizes that he's screwed up big time. I mean, he's screwed his entire administration up with how it's handled South Korea. And now South Korea is like, we ain't investing any more money in the United States. You know that $12 billion Hyundai plant we've been building for many, many years, even before you took office, Donald Trump? Yeah, say goodbye to that. Those 300 plus South Korean workers who were trying to train the Americans how to run a battery plant, which would have been great for the economy of Georgia. Say goodbye to that.
Here's what Donald Trump's posting, quite literally begging for the workers to come back and begging for other foreign workers from other countries to come back, because this has had a domino effect, folks. It's not just impacting South Korea, where people feel terrorized by the Trump regime, but all throughout Asia and frankly, the rest of the world. They're like, why would we build factories in this fascist regime in the United States that attacks us, literally puts us in shackles? Here's what Donald Trump posted. He goes, when foreign companies who are building extremely complex product machines and various other things, which he puts in quotes, come into the United States with massive investments, I want them to bring their people of expertise for a period of time to teach and train our people to make these very unique and complex products as they phase out of our country and back into their land. If we didn't do this, all of that massive investment will never come in the first place. Chips, semiconductors, computer chips, trains, and so many other products that we have to learn from others how to make, or in many cases, relearn because we used to be great at it, but not anymore. For example, shipbuilding, where we used to build a ship a day, and now we barely build a ship a year. I don't want to frighten off or disincentivize investment into America by outside countries or companies. We welcome them. We welcome their employees, and we are willing to proudly say we will learn from them and do even better than them at their own game sometime into the not too distant future. And if that wasn't enough right there, then the White House account reposted Donald Trump's post, and then they wrote, we don't want to frighten or disincentivize them. I get it. You don't want to frighten them. But when you have masked ICE agents roll up on them and disappear them and treat them like war criminals, yeah, that's what's going to happen. And here's the thing, Donald, we live in a very interconnected world. And as you're recognizing in that post, but which you've screwed up massively at, and there's really no coming back from at this time, we depend on other countries for certain things. They depend on us for a lot of things. And in fact, the things that they depended on us for often was at a major advantage for the United States. And there was a reason why the rest of the world would want to put its money into the United States, into United States real estate, buying United States treasuries, but not anymore because they see what a psychotic regime we have. So, of course, you all know by now, here's what happened to the South Koreans who were kidnapped, shackled. This was an image of them being shackled. Here, play this clip.
In video released by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement,
they swore it was just going to be Issachar now. You know, those people are illegal. Let's get them out of here. Apparently not. You know, he got enough smoke to go around for everybody. You know, look shackled, handcuffed. Look at the guy in the background, the ICE agent background with the poo shiesty on. That's the real thugs. You know,
Right.
rocking them shiesties. You don't want nobody to know who you are. Why not?
Good.
You'll be proud of what you do, unless you a Gestapo. Let's continue on.
Asian workers are seen shackled and getting onto a bus after an ICE raid on a Hyundai Motor car battery facility in Georgia. 300 Koreans were arrested in Thursday's raid.
Now, here is the video that ICE released. Just to be clear, it wasn't just that ICE did it. ICE then made like a hype video. They made a propaganda video of themselves rolling up with the South Korean shackled. And you better believe that was front page news. That's the top story in South Korea right now. Here, play this clip.
Now, keep in mind, all this for engineers. They're engineers that came to America to help the Americans learn how to make batteries in the Hyundai plant, Slovakia. So the level of hypocrisy, do you know what I'm saying? These guys have committed no crime. They're here on visas to work. The president has been convicted of 34 counts felony counts. But this is what they need to get, 300 engineers that are working in an American plant. $12 billion plant. $1 billion plant, Slugger.
Now, you had the 316 South Korean workers who were kidnapped by ICE militarized forces in Georgia at that Hyundai factory. They returned to the airport back in Seoul. Here's how it looked when they returned. Play this clip. Just to hear some of the voices as well from the wives of some of the kidnapped workers and some of the kidnapped workers. Let's play this clip right here.
Nobody is going to stay and work when it's like this. After this situation, we considered leaving our jobs. I don't know how the visa will work next time, and there will be some people who need to go there, but I have to think about it.
They went there to help the U.S. The U.S. side also wanted them to work there, but now they are being treated like criminals, which feels very unpleasant. Since they're not actual criminals, the fact that they were taken away like that, I think that's a real problem.
Now, the president of South Korea, President Lee, also made a statement before the kidnapping took place. And perhaps he made this statement a little bit too prematurely. This is how foreign leaders think about the United States right now. So when he was speaking at this international roundtable event right here, the CSIS event, the Center for Strategic International Studies event, he talked about how when he was flying into the United States to meet with Donald Trump in August, he was worried that Trump was going to pull a Zelensky on him. This is South Korea's President Lee saying, I was worried Trump was going to pull a Zelensky. Pull a Zelensky. That's the phrase that foreign leaders now use to talk about going into the Oval Office. Will he pull a Zelensky? Meaning, will he try to mock and embarrass and take away my nation's sovereignty in that golden bordello of an Oval Office? Here, play this clip of President Lee. Let's play it.
So first of all, before I met with President Trump today, he posted on Truth Social a very threatening post, which I felt. And then during the press gaggle, he mentioned about the Korean government's investigations regarding the previous government. And he mentioned that he would look into the search and seizure of U.S. bases. And so my staff was worried that we might face a Zelensky moment.
The weather is heating up and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on clean with me. Try Miracle Made Sheets. If you order today, you can see guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, Miracle Made for sponsoring this episode. Just to remind you, this was the post that Donald Trump made right before President Lee arrived. Donald Trump goes, what's going on in South Korea? Seems like a purge or revolution. We can't have that and do business there. I am seeing the new president today at the White House. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So some right-wing groups, there's a MAGA faction in South Korea, by the way. Like their far right-wing in South Korea has modeled themselves after MAGA. And so they bring that same, like literally, they call themselves like MAGA there in South Korea. And so they kind of laundered into the U.S. these deranged conspiracies that, South Korea was going after Christians and South Korea is going after all these groups. And so based on hearing that, Trump makes a post. At the press conference, Donald Trump was asked about it, and Donald Trump was like, well, I posted about it because I heard about it. I'm not really sure what it's about, but I post about it. Then at that Oval Office meeting, the South Korean president mocked Donald Trump to his face, but Trump was too stupid to realize that he was even being mocked here. And so South Korea's President Lee, he goes, look, you know what, Donald? Because Donald kept on bragging about Kim Jong-un in North Korea. And he goes, this is what the president of South Korea says, total troll of Trump. He goes, I look forward to you meeting with Kim Jong-un, and I guess I'll see you building a Trump Tower in North Korea. And you're going to be playing golf there, I suppose, knowing that none of those things will ever happen in North Korea. Here, play this clip right here.
정말 세계사적인 평화의 메이커로서의 역할을 꼭 해주시길 기대합니다.
And I would like to mention that the only remaining divided nation in the world is the Korean Peninsula. And I would like to ask for your role in establishing peace on the Korean Peninsula. So I look forward to your meeting with Chairman Kim Jong-un and construction of a Trump Tower in North Korea and playing golf at that place.
아마 기다리고 있을 것 같습니다. 네, 기다리고 있을 것 같습니다.
So I believe he will be waiting for you.
And when we talk about the real world ramifications of what's going on right now, there is no trade deal with South Korea. Now, do you remember when you have Donald Trump and his entire regime announcing South Korea deal, we've done the deal, South Korea. Remember, I've always told you that all these trade deals are like entirely bogus. I said, look, show me the piece of paper where there's a signed deal with binding terms that's like multiple pages in length. Then you can come back to me and say there's a deal. But you have Howard Lutnick saying South Korea deal not signed, paperwork remains. South Korea must decide to accept deal or face harsh penalties, to face tariffs. We will not give them any flexibility like Japan, Howard Lutnick says. This is how you're trying to court them back? Are you kidding me? And then U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, he basically admits that there was no deal struck when he was confronted with it on CNBC. Let's play the clip.
To the point on Hyundai, so is the Korea trade deal in jeopardy now?
Well, the Koreans didn't sign when the president was in, right? The president came in, you remember that? He came to the White House. Notice how we didn't talk about trade? Because he didn't sign the piece of paper. I mean, the devil is in the details always. Well, I think they saw the Japanese now, so there's no flexibility, right? The Japanese signed the contract. The Koreans either accept that deal or pay the tariffs, black and white. Pay the tariffs or accept the deal.
But has the immigration raid led to more tension there about?
I think you're going to see President Trump go out and address that. He knows that to build these great factories, we need leadership of people who've built them before if he wants to do it fast. So I think he's going to make a deal with the different countries that when they want to build big here, he'll find a way to get their workers proper work visas, meaning short-term work visas, train Americans, and then head home. I think the president is very clear. I think you're going to see an ABC from him. A, you come in, B, you train Americans, and C, you head on home.
And finally, you have Donald Trump threatening the sovereignty of South Korea. Donald Trump's like, because we have American troops in South.
Saki, somebody say something?
Korea, I would like for you to give us ownership of your land. We would like to own your land, South Korea. Think about what the people in South, you want to own our land? The hell are you talking about? This is what he's done with Denmark and Greenland. This is what he said to Canada. And also, he is a chicken, S-H-I, you know what I'm about to say as well when it comes down to it. Instead, he has the Navy raiding fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela, a tuna fishing boat the other day off of Venezuela. Oh, and then he has the military bomb fishing boat, which Trump said had 11 people moving cocaine from Tren de Aragua. How do you know they weren't trafficking innocent people if there were 11? But we still don't get to know who the hell these people are. Anyway, here's Donald Trump saying that he wants the South Korean land. Let's play it.
When you reduce the number of forces in South Korea so that the United States could have more flexibility in the region, would you consider reducing the number of U.S. forces in South Korea so that the United States can have more?
Well, I don't want to say that now because we've been friends and we're friends. And look, we have a lot of people over there. We have over 40,000 troops in South Korea. As you know, South Korea agreed to pay for that during my last term. And then when Biden came in, they complained to Biden that I wasn't a nice person. And he agreed not to pay. He gave up billions of dollars. We were getting paid billions of dollars. But then Biden ended that for whatever reason. It's unbelievable that he did. But we have a very good relationship militarily. They would say, but we gave you land. I said, no, you didn't. You lease us land. There's a big difference between giving and leasing. And maybe one of the things I'd like to do is ask them to give us ownership of the land where we have the big fort. You know, we spent a lot of money building a fort. And there was a contribution made by South Korea, but I would like to see if we could get rid of the lease and get ownership of the land where we have a massive military base.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe.
So, okay. Lot to unpack there, if you will. He wants wants to own land in South Korea. He wants Canada as the 51st state. He wants Greenland. Somebody told me, man, you know, this is on his first term. It was an elder. He was like, man, he might be Esau, like really, you know what I mean, really back on the earth, like literally Esau. You know, he's always orange. You know, on his mind is constant war. You know what I mean? He's not trying to bring anybody together. You know what I mean? He's always only trying to divide. You know what I mean? He's blowing up fishing boats in Venezuela and saying that they're packed with cocaine. I mean, the fishing boats literally, you know, how much, if you have 11 people on a fishing boat, how much cocaine can you really smuggle into the US? Like if you're really into smuggling, wouldn't you want to just make a submarine like they do? But he has the war is constantly on his mind. You know what I mean? His words are smoother than butter, Salakia. But he's trying to kill people, man. You know? What you think, King? What's up with him?
I got a quick precept.
Con.
Because listen, man, if you think this devil is your savior, that's man, listen. Let's get Habakkuk chapter 3.
Con.
Let's get Habakkuk chapter. Matter of fact, Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse number 4.
2 and 4.
Yeah, he got beef with North Korea, South Korea. He got beef with them, East Korea. Any direction Korea, he got beef with. And like that guy was saying, which is a good point. If a lot of people seen that video with Zelensky, Trump was sunning him.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, like think about it. If you was in Zelensky's position and you're supposed to be an ally with America and you flying all the way to America, Oval Office, and mind you, you a president as well too, so you're supposed to get that respect. You know what I'm saying? And all throughout the interview, you getting shut down and sunned and disrespected. The VP is like, damn, you got set up like you got jumped. The VP, what's the vice president name again?
Vance,
JD Vance. JD Vance, like Trump ain't really had to say nothing as much. JD Vance was the one that was going in. He's like, how dare you come over here to the president? And Zelensky like, damn, like y'all called me. So was this a setup or something? And you know, he's trying to hold his composure and everything. And mind you, Trump is so disrespectful when it comes to these other nations and their presidents. He announced Vladimir Putin as Zelensky. When he was bringing him in, next up we got Zelensky. He said no. He said, next up we got Vladimir Putin. And Zelensky looking like, damn, what the? So it's like you calling me my ops that I'm coming to you to have a contract with so I can go to war against Russia. Like he don't got enough respect just to even give them their proper name and proper due respect, right? So think about that. You coming over to have an interview with this person, and you feel like you get a jump by everybody. Like, damn. And your country is watching it back at your house, and you getting shut down worldwide. So imagine how all the other presidents feel as well, too. So we come over there to America, you're gonna try to embarrass us all through our live television. And we are a sovereign nation. You know? And he's literally bullying all these presidents. And what's happening? All the relation that they had built up throughout the years, he's cutting them all down. He's cutting them all down. Yeah, you might be right, brother. That might really be Esau. I ain't never seen an Edomite this prideful and boastful, and you know. Yeah, I got a quick precept. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. 2 and 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto himself all people." That's literally America, right? The Lord says, "Soul lifted up is not upright in him," right? He has no respect. He has no dignity, right? Because he transgressive by wine. What is that wine? American philosophy, right? Democracy, which they force on every other nation. He is a proud man. That's Trump. Neither keepeth at home. That's not just Trump, but America. They go to every other nation, country, set up military bases and everything. And now they say, well, hopefully we get some land in Korea, right? Who enlargeth his desire as hell. Making deals with every country, trying to get their land, trying to get this, trying to get that, trying to have all their people come over here and help build up certain infrastructures over here so that they can use them later on as a bargaining chip, and is as death. And that's why the guy said, I don't know, I feel like he was scared because he don't know what's gonna happen, right? Or he don't know he might get on that plane and all of a sudden it just blows up. All these nations are scared of Esau. But now in the times that we're in, they're starting to rise up. And he cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. So he want China, he want Korea, he want Russia, he want everybody to bow down to him and follow in the ways of America. This devil is proud, boy. Are you okay?
Khan, it's another video. Somebody from Australia asked him a question that he didn't like. I don't even know what the question was, but he asked him a question that he didn't like. And he's like, "Where you from?" He's like, "I'm such and such from Australian news or whatever like that." He's like, "Yeah, you know what? You shouldn't be talking to me like that. Listen, you know, we got a good relationship with Australia, you know, so." I don't think the president of Australia wants you to talk to me like this. We could, things can go bad. Like off a question from a reporter, he's about to strain relations with Australia, a U.S. ally. He is sick in the head. And I brought this up a while ago, and it sounded kind of off the wall. But seeing that, it makes sense. He could have dated a woman from Venezuela, or he could have, somebody from Venezuela could have bumped into him in the hallway in the 80s or something and didn't say excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Just like Amon, you know what I mean? Ammon, not Ammon, um, and Esther. What's his name?
Oh yeah, Haman.
Haman, yeah, Khan.
Yeah.
And Mordecai not
Mordecai.
bowing down to him.
Right. Mordecai, right.
Khan, so something simple as that. And he's like, you know what? That's why we're getting Venezuela out of here. It could have been that personal with somebody he dated or whatever. Like he had a crush on a Venezuelan woman, and she said, "Nah, I don't want to date you." And he's like, "You know what? When I'm president, I'm gonna blow up your country." And that's why 7 or 8, you know what I mean, warships are down there. Of course, they're gonna steal the oil. You know what I mean? I understand that, but on the level of pettiness, this is with the president who has his finger on the button. You know what I mean? So, Most High has the perfect stooge in power right now. But you gotta understand that, he's like Ariel was bringing out in the scriptures, he's never satisfied. This guy has an office full of gold. You know what I mean? He lived in a high priced, building in Manhattan. He literally had a gold toilet. He is never satisfied. Okay.
Hey, Salaki, I got a quick precept.
Con.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Then the king's servant which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and they hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did he reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And just to correlate what you were saying, same with Haman and with Mordecai. Same as with Trump and Kaepernick. Kaepernick wouldn't bow. You see what I'm saying?
God.
And then Trump said, you tell that son of a... you tell that son of a... Like, he wouldn't bow. And that's the spirit of Esau. He want all these nations to bow before him. But those that say, nah, I'm going to stand up like a man. Man just like you. Esau can't handle that. So he try to break them. That's why he got an issue with us as Israelite. We will not bow to this system. And he's not used to that. So he's trying to break us. Yeah.
Con. Excellent point. Excellent precept too. Wow, you get Obadiah. We'll start at the top.
Con. I got it.
Con.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle.
Con, read on.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
Nobody likes America, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine the incoming president saying, we're going to take over your country? Do you know what I mean? Well, we do a lot of trade with them, so we might as well just make them the 51st country. Wait, what? No, we're actually like a sovereign land, and we got our own rules and our own prime ministers and governors and all types of stuff. You just want to just take it over? He's like, yeah, we'll take it over. And looking into it, you know what I'm saying? Like, how we gonna do it? If you don't take it, if you don't give it to us, we might just take it. Denmark, looking at Denmark and what's weird, like he did with Saddam Hussein, go over there and shake his hand. You're like, okay, let's look at your security. How do you got a lot of planes here, a lot of missile defense systems. They're just going over there to look to see what you got so they can take it, so they can eventually go to war with you. And once you start seeing the dominoes fall, okay, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, a coup attempt in Venezuela, you know what I mean? Going over to China and trying to separate them from Taiwan, you know what I mean? Giving a bunch of missiles to Israel and bombing Soleimani, saying and then they bombing Qatar, bombing, all these other countries, and you're looking like bombing Iran, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have a peace agreement. We're gonna talk about peace. Everybody sees that. If we see it, then you can imagine all the heads of states like, yo, these guys are crazy. You know what I'm saying? This is Esau. This is what he does. Go ahead, read verse 3.
Con. Verse number 3. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Yeah, nobody, they think that they can sit a queen forever. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody that can take us out, even though Vietnam, the guerrilla warfare in Vietnam, America lost. Afghanistan, Iraq, plenty of losses. You know what I mean? But their main plan was to get a base over there in Iraq, was to steal the opium in Afghanistan. That's
Right.
why you don't see heroin anymore. People don't die of heroin overdose, they die of fentanyl overdose because America's no longer in Afghanistan. So they went over there for the drugs, they went over to Iraq for the oil. You know what I'm saying? And they think nobody can bring them down. Can you read verse 4?
Khan, Obadiah 1 and verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh.
Khan. It's the Most High God that's going to bring him down. And one thing that they're paying attention to is the chariots. They're having congressional hearings on the Hill, having whistleblowers, quote unquote, coming in and talking about their experiences with the chariots. And these experiences are remarkable. You know what I'm saying? We want to watch the next video. One guy was there and he was looking at the chariots. His phone almost caught on fire. He's like, my phone got really hot, and it stopped working, So if you're thinking like, oh, how come we don't see a whole lot of videos and stuff like that? Because they'll just knock them phones right off. You know what I mean? But the important part to this is they're being seen, the chariots, over military installations where they have their missile defenses, where they have their nuclear weapons, where they have their F-35s, where they have Esau's, all his toys mean nothing because the radar, the jamming, by the time the F-35s get up there, they can be gone. F-35s land, they come right back, they're just playing with them. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High is going to bring him down to the ground. All right. Can you give me Deuteronomy 26 and verse 15? And we're going to
Khan,
play the video.
I got it.
Khan.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26, and verse number 15. Look down from the holy habitation, from heaven, and bless thy people Israel, in the land which thou hast given us, as thou swearest unto our fathers, a land that floweth with milk and honey.
Khan, but right now, our land is inhabited by the Gentiles. So there's a time period where the Most High allows them to be in the land, and then till the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled, they got to go. So right now, we ask you how about Shem Yahushai to get these squatters out of our land. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to show you now how that's going to happen. Do you want to say anything before we play the video, King?
No, I'm good.
All right, Khan. So this is what happened with the Congress.
I think what the American people should think when seeing that video, along with others before me, is that there is something out there and we should know as the people what it is.
We are hearing from whistleblowers also on Capitol Hill who allege the government is holding back crucial information about UAPs, unexplained aerial phenomena, what many of us still call UFOs.
And in fact, we heard about the stories today about a triangular craft that was huge in size with lights on the apex of the triangle. There are other whistleblowers right now, to include former special operators, who are willing to come forward and talk to Congress and the intelligence community about these exact aircraft being seen over military bases.
It stopped about 100 feet in front of me and approximately 100 feet above me. My telephone got extremely hot, completely froze.
From whistleblowers who served in the military.
Chaos ensued over the radio as the object approached rapidly. I heard my friends screaming, "It's coming right at us. It's coming right for us."
From 2011 and 2013, I was stationed at Langley Air Force Base, Virginia, and at approximately 0130, I saw an approximately 100-foot equilateral triangle take off from near the NASA hangar on the base. The craft interfered with my telephone, did not have any sound, and the material it was made of appeared fluid or dynamic.
I was under this triangular craft for a few minutes, and then it rapidly ascended to commercial jet level in seconds, displaying zero kinetic disturbance, sound, or wind displacement.
In this video that was just revealed that we played a portion of just a second ago, it's from an MQ-9 Reaper drone off the coast of Yemen in 2024. The missile appears, it's a 100-pound missile. It appears to simply bounce off this object rather than destroy it. It's unbelievable. What do you think we're seeing here?
The hearing was enough to convince some lawmakers who were once skeptics.
Growing up, I really never believed in UFOs or any of this stuff. I admit, I've become a believer.
GOP Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson showed an alarming video leaked to him anonymously.
It pivots in some way, and then there's what appears to be debris from the missile. The missile is deflected, and then some pieces of debris appear to be traveling alongside and with this object for an extended period of time.
My name is Jeffrey Nusatelli. I'm a former military police officer with 16 years of active duty service in the U.S. Air Force. Between 2003 and 2005, 5 UAP incidents occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base. 2003, when Boeing contractors reported a massive glowing red square silently hovering over 2 missile defense sites. After several minutes, it drifted further east onto the base and vanished in the hills. Later that night, while I was on duty, security guards at a critical launch site reported a bright, fast-moving object over the ocean. I responded to the incident. Chaos ensued over the radio as the object approached rapidly. I heard my friends screaming, "It's coming right at us, it's coming right for us, and now it's right here." Moments later, I heard them say that it had shot off and was gone. When I arrived on scene, I talked to 5 shaken witnesses who described a massive triangular craft larger than a football field that hovered silently for about 45 seconds over their entry control point before shooting away at impossible speed. About a week later, another patrol reported a light over the ocean behaving erratically. Believing it might be an unannounced aircraft, they declared an emergency, and an armed response force responded. Before the forces could arrive, the object descended and either landed or hovered on our flight line, and then took off again at impossible speed. The witnesses to this event were threatened and intimidated afterward. They were told to keep quiet.
When you look close, you can see what looks like maybe 3 other objects flying off of it. Can we just slow this down a little bit and play it back if we can to see exactly what we're talking about? All right, so there's the missile, makes a strike. This is a huge board, so I get to see this up close. 3 different distinct objects. This thing seems to be spinning a little bit and then zooms out. But when this missile hits, I mean, what are we seeing here? Are we seeing these parts coming off of this? What was
So somebody analyzed this, and when you get closer to the 3 parts that are on, that came off it, allegedly, they're about the same size. So more than likely, there are 3 chariots that came off. And, of course, they didn't get knocked off. They came off like, oh, okay, this how you want to play? You know what I mean? It's a Hellfire missile, It's a $1 million missile that did absolutely nothing to the chariot. So they got to see this and say, we're going to need a bigger boat.
supposed to be like a spear?
I think that myself and all members on that task force, to include the witnesses, have the very same reaction, and that nothing, to my knowledge, exists in our arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like that. But more importantly, why are videos like this being overclassified and held back from the American people?
You also heard testimony from service members who were saying some pretty wild stuff. Like, what stuck out from the testimony that you heard today?
Well, the Vandenberg Air Base was something that I had heard about, but I never heard directly from a first-person witness in regards to what they went through at the time of the incident.
After that, things did get quiet until about 2005, when another patrol reported a massive triangular craft larger than a C-130 silently floating over the installation. He watched it for a few minutes. It traveled west and disappeared into the night. And then I had my own encounter, again in 2005. I was off duty, sitting in my backyard with two other police officers when we noticed what first appeared to be a satellite in orbit, but it wasn't acting like a satellite. The light was strange, it was pulsing, and then it started to maneuver. It dropped in elevation. At times it would vanish from view and reappear in a different location in the sky. And eventually it reappeared 200 feet over my house. It was a 30-foot diameter sphere of light.
They followed him home. And keep in mind, this happened also in New Jersey when they said the alleged drones. The people that were investigating the drones, quote unquote, they came to their house. They were over their house. So it's like, you want to investigate me, I'll investigate you.
My friends and I watched it for a moment, and then it gently accelerated and traveled up and disappeared into the stars. These events profoundly changed my life and the lives of my friends. We stand at a pivotal moment in history. The question is no longer whether these events are real, but whether we have the courage to face them.
Are you
And Salakia, when it says it changed my life, it's not for the better. This brings Esau down. It knocks him down. He realized that his whole life's been a lie. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, he doesn't remember anything from that moment. But as we know through the scriptures and through firsthand accounts, they can manipulate time and, of course, matter. So whatever happened to Esau, he doesn't remember, you know? But he said it drastically changed his life. I'm going to go on a limb and say Esau ain't never been the same since, you know? And when everybody else gets that Edomite wake-up call, you know what I mean? Might be one at a time, 10 at a time, 100 at a time, whatever. They're getting it. And it's bringing them down into the pit.
Though that is evidence that is not of this planet, that there is no
Slocky, you say something?
Now, yeah, and also when he seen that chariot, it destroyed his pride because of the lies that, think about it like Esau, you know, growing up in America, they're taught that America got the best military. Uncle Sam, we want you in the military. We got the best Marines. See what I'm saying? We got the best Air Force. Nothing could stop America. They're damn near thinking America is the weapons of God on earth. No army could fight against us. And then you look up in the sky and you see something damn near bigger than a building right over your head. And it's quiet too. You can't even hear. And it's moving like light speed at that size and speed. And mind you, it stopped right over your head. You see what I'm saying? If I was an Edomite, I'll be terrified because that's like a sign, like the angels telling, like, yeah, we got our eye right on you. Right on you. And you know what's cold? Same as how America like to sneak up on other nations at night. And they don't see it coming. The angels is doing that. And showing you how big we are, you will never hear us coming. So when we decide to come and take you and snatch you up and beam you up and torture you, you can't do a damn thing. You can't escape. You know? But I yield. I got a couple of precepts, but I'll wait till after you done.
King. Silent, large, and there's nobody and it can't be brought down or there's no fight against them. So yeah, Khan. All right, let's finish it out.
technology that could do that.
That's right. There is no technology that can do that that we know of now. But on the other hand, there's no technology that can actually go from 80,000 feet from outer space down to the surface of the ocean in 0.7 of 1 second and stop instantly generating 6,000 pounds, 6,000 Gs of pressure on the craft. No, that all these things that these UFOs are doing are things that nothing in our arsenal and nothing in the Russian or Chinese arsenal can do. And so the Congress is confronted now by, what is this?
Yeah,
What
we
is
just
going
saw
on
it
here?
deflect that missile. The missile hits it, and then it kind of just dodges a little bit.
Mr. Chief Wiggins, you said that it emerged from the ocean. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And before it did, it was glowing. It was a glowing object under the water.
Dramatic UFO footage recorded aboard a U.S. warship off the coast of Southern California is making waves. As we first reported last week, Navy sailors recorded video of two tic-tac-shaped objects near their ship. Well, now an eyewitness to that encounter has stepped forward, and coincidentally, he's from Las Vegas.
To my surprise, which is something I've never witnessed, was a light I noticed on the horizon, but it looked as if it were surfacing out of the water.
He says he jammed back to the combat center and took a closer look on the Sapphire system, which is a thermal sensor, not a camera. The sensor detected not just one, but two tic-tac-shaped objects. Neither showed any hint of an exhaust system or any known propulsion system.
We only saw the one, and then we see the second one. It was only when we zoom out, we realize, holy crap, there's two more out here, a total of four. And all of a sudden, you just see all four of them take off to the northeast all at the same time, just out of nowhere. And if I had to talk speed, it would say like maybe 2 steps behind instantaneous.
When you first saw what you were looking at, what were your first thoughts?
My first thoughts were, I think everything that I was told and taught as a kid and as growing adult no longer, was applicable. If I'm able to see something that I thought defies gravity in such a way, then what else could be possible?
Lawmakers say the U.S. is now in a space race. It's competing against China and Russia to figure out UAPs first.
And at approximately 0130, I saw an approximately 100-foot equilateral triangle take off from near the NASA hangar on the base.
Tonight, only on Fox, just about every year about this time, the subject comes up. People start talking about the Phoenix Lights mystery.
While thousands of people were outside purposely looking at the sky for a glimpse of the Hale-Bopp comet, they also caught a glimpse of 1 mile to 2 mile wide in some very credible reports. Either orbs, giant balls of light that seem to be attached to something in a mile-wide V formation, or actual craft.
They were called the Phoenix Lights and quickly became one of the largest mass UFO sightings of all time.
One of the people I talked to about this was former Governor Five Symington just a couple of years ago. He was a former Navy guy. He said, what I saw that night was definitely a craft. He said, and not of this world. Symington said it was not of this world, is how he put it. And that,
Hey,
that was
Slakia,
It's my
jump back to 9 minutes when the guy was talking about the 4 lights. Just so we could prove in that this is all scripture, this is all biblical, right?
You said 9 minutes?
Yeah, when that brother was talking right there. The black dude. Let
me do a little bit look further.
Look at their eyes. Everybody just look finished. But look how cold the Lord is. The Lord used a brother to give that specific testimony. We know about Esau, but if you look at Esau and Jake's eyes, it's two different look. You see what I'm saying? Because Israel by nature, we're vessels of mercy. Like we hard-headed, but once we learn, all right, it is what it is. We just keep pushing. Esau, he gonna keep harking on that specific thing for the rest of his life. He cannot let it go. Right? Yeah, you can play the video out.
Con, you want me to this when he's talking to weaponized or when he's talking to Congress?
Start right there.
Start right there. Okay.
Yeah.
It would say like maybe 2 steps behind instantaneous.
When you first saw what you were looking at, what were your first thoughts?
My first thoughts were, I think everything that I was told and taught as a kid and as growing adult no longer, was applicable if I'm able to see something that I thought defies gravity in such a way, then what else could be possible?
Lawmakers say
Was that the part when he said the four? Like the four part? I think it was before that, right?
Before that,
Yeah.
4 parts.
Yeah. Right there. Right
Okay.
there. Yep.
Let me keep it on.
Right there. That's perfect.
Evidently, he's from Las Vegas.
To my surprise, which is something I've never witnessed, was a light I noticed on the horizon, but it looked as if it were surfacing out of the water.
He says he jammed back to the combat center and took a closer look on the Sapphire system, which is a thermal sensor, not a camera. The sensor detected not just one, but 2 tic-tac shaped objects. Neither showed any hint of an exhaust system or any known propulsion system.
We only saw the one, and then we see the second one. It was only when we zoom out we realize, holy crap, there's 2 more out here, a total of 4.
You see, 2 more out there as a total of 4. Cause I'm thinking as I'm watching the video, I'm like, nah, it gotta be 4. All right, read on. It gotta be 4. Now you may be thinking, how the hell brothers gonna talk about it gotta be 4? Yeah, because the Bible is true. They don't know what they're seeing, but we know what we're seeing because we're going based off the words of God, the Bible. Okay? Right? Yeah, you keep going, okay.
You just see all 4 of them take off to the northeast all at the same time, just out of nowhere. And if I had to talk speed, it would say like maybe 2 steps behind instantaneous. When you first saw,
Right. So pause that. He said it was 4 of them took off top speed, right? Mind you, and early in this conversation, he's talking about this light, right? So check this. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 1. This Bible is real, man. Let's get it. Ezekiel 1 and 1. When everybody have it, say con.
Con.
It says, now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Kabar, that the heavens were open and I saw visions of God. So this is Ezekiel, right? It says Ezekiel was among who? The captives. He was in captivity. God? Isn't a brother in America right now? We all in America right now. We're in captivity, right? Now we jump to verse number 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. Remember he was talking about the lights? Right? And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Why you think that hellfire missile was aimed towards the chariot and ain't do nothing towards it? Because that chariot or the angels are ministering flames of fire. They have a celestial heat. You can't compare to that. The heavenly fire of the Lord compared to earthly fire of man, right? Now this is the key. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. You see how he was talking about it was 4? Man, this is cold, man. The chariots broke off from 1 to 4, like literally. Like this is crazy. God. Right? Like Mama Gail said, she was thinking the same thing. Right? 4 living creatures, right? Let me get to the point. Here we go. Verse number 9. Their wings were joined one to another, and they turned not when they went. They went everyone straight forward. Then he said he went straight north. And he said it was instantaneous, right? Verse 12. And they went everyone straight forward. Whether the spirit was to go, they went. And they turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and the appearance of lamps. And it went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. And out of the fire went forth lightning. So out of the fire that went forth lightning, what was that lightning? And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. That's why he said it was so quick. Con? So this is showing you, boy, Esau in trouble. They just literally live Ezekiel chapter 1. In Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse number 19. And when the living creatures went and the wheels went by them, that was the chariots. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up as well. That was the chariot that was with them the whole time. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. What is the wheels? It's speaking about the chariot. The angels was there the whole time. Their vehicle is the chariot, and the chariot is tied into their spirit. They are the chariot. They are the angels. That's their vehicle. So he probably didn't see the angels. What he seen was the chariot, but he didn't know the angels was there the whole time. Okay. So look how cold that is, man. This is literally Ezekiel chapter 1. And he's talking about 4. He's talking about how quick they was moving and the bright light and all of this stuff. And they shocked. They literally having a conference about this. And they don't know what to do. And what we talking about is throughout the scriptures. They don't know what's going on. We didn't have to go to the damn CIA and government base and train with them for 30 years just to get this type of classified information. The Lord gave it to us as babes. And we watching America, we watching their highest level of intellect right now. Having meetings, they're panicking. They don't know what to do. Shema Shaka. God, are you okay?
God.
We're looking at what you were looking at. What were your first thoughts? My first thoughts were, I think everything that I was told and taught as a kid and as growing adult no longer, was applicable. If I'm able to see something that I thought defies gravity in such a way, then what else could be possible?
Lawmakers say the U.S. is now in a space race. It's competing against China and Russia to figure out UAPs first.
And at approximately 0130, I saw an approximately 100-foot equilateral triangle take off from near the NASA hangar on the base.
Tonight, only on Fox, just about every year about this time, the subject comes up. People start talking about the Phoenix Lights mystery.
While thousands of people were outside purposely looking at the sky for a glimpse of the Hale-Bopp comet, they also caught a glimpse of 1 to 2 mile wide in some very credible reports. Either orbs, giant balls of light that seem to be attached to something in a mile-wide V formation, or actual craft.
They were called the Phoenix Lights and quickly became one of the largest mass UFO sightings of all time.
One of the people I talked to about this was former Governor Fife Symington just a couple of years ago. He was a former Navy guy. He said, what I saw that night was definitely a craft. He said, and not of this world. Symington said it was not of this world is how he put it. And that was kind of interesting.
It's my personal belief, based on a fair amount of evidence, that they're not aliens. They've always been here. And I do think it's spiritual. That's my view. So, again, it's not provable, but based on the evidence, I think I'm with you. Well, if the U.S. government has in fact had direct contact with these beings, whatever they are, I've already told you what I think they are, and has entered into some sort of agreement with them, which is the claim of informed people. I would say, whether they're right or wrong, I can't say conclusively. Yeah, but if that is true, I mean, it's a very, very, very heavy thing.
Yeah, a lot of people say interdimensional beings. I want to ask, are angels and demons, or how would you describe these beings?
You know, these are, again, I'm getting into the realm of conjecture, so I just want to say that flat out.
Entity.
But one thing I know for a dead certain fact, having seen it, is that there is good and evil. We're being acted upon at all times. And I think every person can feel that in himself. I mean, there are moments when you are moved to do things that are much better than you actually are, and that are also more evil and destructive than you actually are. You are subject to forces from outside yourself. That is absolutely true. Now, we can argue about what they are, but every person in the room, if he's reflective, will tell you, yes, I know what you're talking about. And so there are forces that are not human, that do exist in a spiritual realm of some kind that we cannot see. And that when you think about it, sort of make you think we live in an ant farm. Yeah. Being right. And that's just, that is real. Yeah. Okay.
And Salakia, he that's Tucker Carlson, right wing, make America great again guy, right? He'll tell you about a story. I haven't heard in detail the story, but he didn't go into it. But he was like, "Yeah, man, demon came and got me, man." You know what I'm saying? Like he got beat up at night. He woke up like scratches on him or something like that. So that's why he's sitting there. If you watch it again, right? Matter of fact, real quick, just to edification purposes, look at his fingers, look at his hands, and how nervous he is when he's talking about it.
True. I mean, it's a very, very, very heavy thing. Yeah. A lot of people say interdimensional beings. I want to ask, angels.
You got to share the screen.
How would you describe these beings? These are, again, I'm getting into the realm of conjecture, so I just want to say that flat out. Entity. But one thing I know for a dead certain fact, having seen it, is that there is good and evil. We're being acted upon at all times. And I think every person can feel that in himself. I mean, there are moments when you are moved to do things that are much better than you actually are. And they're also.
Yeah, Kasai, you got to share the screen. We don't see the screen.
Oh, Salakia.
The water.
My bad, y'all. I got a little excited. All right, here we go. Look at his hands just fumbling around.
There is good and evil. We're being acted upon at all times. And I think every person can feel that in himself. I mean, there are moments when
he's not doing good. You know what I mean? He got visited. Esau got visited. And a lot of these dudes is getting visited. You know what I mean? And it's messing them up. It's bringing them down. They're in the watering hole. They're, down Skid Row, trying to cop some base. You know what I mean? Shooting up in the back of their car. They're in bad shape right now. You know what I mean? Esau is literally falling apart. He has to take stuff to make him go to sleep. Because if he doesn't have the TV on, doesn't have the radio blasting, if he can't drink himself to sleep, pop some pills to go to sleep, he sees what's going on, what's happening to him at night. And he's getting abused. Literally abused. You had some precepts you wanted to bring out, King?
Yeah, Khan. Another example of a Edomite that had a strange encounter with angels. Cause this damn thief, he tried to steal the treasury from Israel, right? From Jerusalem. And the priest Onias was a righteous priest. So he prayed unto the Lord, and the Lord sent angels against this guy named Heliodorus, right? And let's get the damn popcorn cracking, boy. Let's get 2 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse number 23. Just wait till everybody got it, and I'll read it. Don. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse number 23. Nevertheless, Heliodorus executed that which was decreed. Right? Antiochus sent him to go take the treasury, the money from the temple of Israel, right? Now, as he was there present himself with his guard about the treasury, the Lord of spirits and the Prince of all power caused a great apparition, so that all that presumed to come in with him were astonished at the power of God and fainted and were so afraid. One of the other examples when a person fainted and was afraid, let's get that real quick. Matthew chapter 28. Matthew 28 and verse number 1. When anybody have it, say Khan. Just showing y'all one example. There's many examples. You have one with Samson when his mother, angel visited him and everything, right? But Matthew 28 and verse 1. It says, in the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. And his countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and became as dead men. Right? So these were the Roman soldiers that was set up to guard the temple of to guard the grave of Yahushua with his body and everything. The Lord sent one angel from the third heaven, came down, shake a small earthquake. And when the heathen seen this angel, the sight of the angel, they died out of just seeing the sight of the angel. Out of fear, the glow of the angel and everything. Right? But what happened? And the angel answered and said unto the woman, fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Yahushua, which was crucified. So look, the heathens died when they seen the angel. But the Israelites, the man and the woman, Mary was there. The angel said, hey, don't worry. I'm here for you. God.
God.
I'm here for you. Same as Revelation chapter 19. When John seen the angel, and the angel said, hey, don't bow to me. I'm your brother. We family. We both doing the same mission of the Lord. But when it comes to the heathens, they getting tortured. They getting put to death. Right? So now let's go back to 2nd Maccabees real quick. Lock it. Can you hear me?
Con.
Okay, Con. Let's go back to 2nd Maccabees chapter 3, and let's go to verse number verse number 24. Now, as he was there present himself with his guard about the treasury, the Lord of spirits and the prince of all power caused a great apparition, so that all that presumed to come in with him were astonished at the power of God and fainted and was sore afraid. Right? Another example of an apparition, I think, is Wisdom of Solomon 17, when it showed the days of darkness in Egypt. And the Lord sent the apparition as well too against the Egyptians. Now, like the Edomite said, angels and demons, angels on the right-hand side, demons on the left-hand side. They're all spirits of the Lord. That's controlled by the Lord. Right? Now, this the angels, verse 25. For they appeared unto them in horse with a terrible rider upon him, and adorned with a very fair covering, and he ran fiercely and smote at Heliodorus with his 4 feet. And it seemed that he sat upon the horse had complete harness of gold. Moreover, 2 other young men appeared before him, notable in strength, excellent in beauty, and comely in apparel, who stood by him on either side, and scourged him continually, and gave him many sore stripes. So these were the angels that beat the brakes off of Heliodorus. And if people think we lying, even the Edomite, if everybody's seen the interview that was passed around throughout the years, now it's famous on World Star Hip Hop. Jake just catching up. The Edomite said, listen, he's seen a big ship, and out of it came hundreds of tall black men. And he said they were big and strong. He said the look they had on their face, they looked like conquerors. They're like they never was defeated. And he said they had weapons and everything. That's how Heliodorus looking at these angels. And Esau even said that in the interview. And then the chick was like, black? You mean black? He said black. Like African American. That's how these angels look. Big and strong, decked out, styling, gold harness, armor, and all of that. Right? But they beat the brakes off of Heliodorus for touching the people of Israel. Right? And Heliodorus fell suddenly into the ground, was compassed with great darkness. But they that were with him took him up and put him into a litter. Thus him that lately came with a great train and with all his guard into the said treasury, they carried out, being unable to help himself with his weapons. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper. And manifestly they acknowledged the power of God. For he by the hand of God was cast down and lay speechless without all hope of life. That's how Esau looked. In the video, Jake just, we was taught lies the whole time, and now I got to reconsider, and just kept it moving. Esau, this man is terrifying. You see the guy, he got his hands on his lap, and he's shaking, and And you can see the sweat coming down his face, and he's terrified. Because their spirit know you got to pay back what you did to us, man. And you thought that the God of the universe was a white man. If the beings that you seen, the angels that you seen were black, and you know they were black, just like the people you treat like crap. I think it was one of the presidents that said it. They said, so what if God was black? He said, if God is black, then boy, we got a lot to pay.
God.
You see what I'm saying? So as you go on down, let me see. Now look what happened to Heliodorus. Verse 35. So Heliodorus, after he had offered great sacrifice unto the Lord and made great vows unto him that had saved his life and saluted Onias, returned with his host to the king. Then testified he to all men of the works of the great God, which he had seen with his eyes. And when the king Heliodorus, who might be a fit man to be sent yet once again to Jerusalem, he said, if thou hast any enemy or traitor, send him thither, and thou shalt receive him well scourged. And if he escape with his life, for in that place no doubt there is an especial power of God. For he that dwelleth in heaven have his eye on this place, and defendeth it, and he beateth and destroyeth them that come to hurt it. And the things concerning Heliodorus and the keeping of the treasury fell out on this sort. So what happened? Heliodorus got baptized by the hand of God. The angels beat the brakes off him. He came back from the spirit world, came back to life, and started praising the Lord and was warning everybody. That's what the Edomite is doing right now. He said, listen, these big chariots, how big they are over my house and all of this stuff, they was probably torturing him. So now he's coming back to his government leadership, hierarchy, and all of this stuff, and he's professing to them worldwide that this is real. Yeah.
God.
All praises, man. Dwadi about Shemel Shah. Lord with us. They finish our. Ooh-wee.
God. I could play part of that video too.
God.
I'm gonna play part of the video, matter of fact. You know what I mean? Let me get it. Let me cue it up. He said black.
Know who Bob Dean is?
Slack, yeah. All right, let me cue this one up, right? So this is Norman Bergeron, right? Or Bergeron. I'm saying it.
Burglar.
Huh?
Well, you talking about the Edomite?
Con.
Yeah, burglar. Norman burglar.
Con. God, this guy, he's an astro engineer, a space scientist, and author. He lived in San Latos Hills for 52 years for relocating to Central Valley. Norman was educated at Cornell University, postgraduate at Stanford. Moving on to the Bay Area, he was a scientist at Ames Research Center. He played an active role in the all-weather flight as well as control of high-speed airplanes. He worked at Lockheed, where he managed a team that analyzed the missile tests. All right, this guy has a lot of accolades, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Boom. And this is his interview, viral interview, right? I'm not gonna play the whole interview, but this is part of it where he lets you know who is who and what is what. And there's another part where they let you know, I think it's in Russia, who is who and what is what.
Know who Bob Dean is? Had you ever talked to him one-on-one?
I've talked with him, yes. He believes what I put here is yes, that is correct. I agree with him.
Well, I just wondered because he had a pretty high above top secret clearance at one time.
Mine was above the President of the United States.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, and so were you working in an underground base up here at that time?
No, it was just a place that you would know how to get to.
Really? I wouldn't know how to get to.
It's, you know, stumbled around enough to be fine, but I wouldn't hold that big a deal. I can tell things is, when I mean things, the conditions are getting critical. And I find that some scientists also think that. And so I think when I do publish, that group anyway will agree with me. I agree.
Now, keep in mind what he's saying, right? We all know where he goes with this, but see how he's kind of tiptoeing towards that. He's like, things are getting critical, and there's some scientists that agree with me. So he's getting to that, you know what I'm saying? So he's letting you know, like, yo, this is serious business. All right. Let's continue.
On your conclusion, when you say things are getting critical, are you talking about something to do with the vehicles that are in the rings of Saturn?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You see, it's sort of simple. On
Right.
and
Okay. And this is the ring, right? This part, this is the ring?
that ends up being right.
Yeah.
It's
And they're-
Pfizer.
Oh, really? Okay, so, and they're, what your theory is they're manufacturing it, is that correct?
It comes, that's the exhaust from the city.
From the craft?
Yes.
Is it because, are they stationary or are they moving the craft?
They're called moving.
So do you think, when you say things are getting critical, are you
Okay,
saying?
now, just take that picture and say that's the exhaust. It's like you have an airplane and exhaust.
Mhm.
It's in your atmosphere. And it can load a lot of energy, images. We were picked by the Hubble telescope, those Saturn. This last year, 2012,
Okay.
it shows objects under the rings and one just right to the edge. Like I said, they were. Okay.
Is that Cassini? Is that, did the photographs come from Cassini?
The last one is, no, the ones I told you about, that shows those.
Right.
Those are Hubble's.
Those are from Hubble.
Yeah.
But am I wrong? They closed down Hubble, right?
Right.
Or that's the official story? Right?
Wherever they closed it down is 2012 before they show you the picture.
It's 2012 before they show you the picture. What do you mean by that?
And I was able to film that before 1985.
Yes, so you were way ahead of everyone.
Way ahead.
Yeah.
And that is too long to tolerate that kind of science. It's just too long. Now, I have 3 reports. I guess on the environment, let's say in UNESCO, but they're yay thick. All 3 of them weigh 18 pounds or about 60 pounds. And they have to vote on what they think goes on. That is not science.
They have to
That's
vote.
politics.
Okay, yeah,
That's
you're
not
right.
science.
That's absolutely.
It's sell it to you as the, it's science. It is not science. Okay. And that is the hump that you can help get us over.
Okay.
Hey, those things are real.
Okay, but if there are craft, there are beings.
Okay, people were asking me about, I call them vehicles, okay?
Right.
Now, I did not call them objects. That was too new for me.
Okay.
I had a Stanford professor say, you know, they call them Harvard, no. They have all of the qualities of a vehicle. They can move, you know, they're just like a missile or anything like that. So that much we can say about them, for sure.
Okay,
So I'm calling them in.
okay.
Okay, somebody comes along and says, well, now where would you manufacture one that's 2.5 Earth lengths long? And that's a hard question to answer.
2.5 Earth lengths long. Earth lengths, not football fields. 2.5 Earth lengths long. That's what we're dealing with. All right. And he has pictures on the Hubble telescope of them making, that's why I call it, his book is called The Ring Makers of Saturn. They made the rings of Saturn. All right. Continue on.
However, if you think of it in terms of its living entity, it's just another form of the word God. Very numbers. And it can grow and grow and grow and grow.
Okay,
So
so.
the MD and it's self-handling.
Uh-huh. So are you not positing the idea that those vehicles contain, you know, beings who are, you know, maybe like us?
Yeah, I only go along with government images. And if you want to know about people kind of thing, there is the ship that picked up the Voyager capsule at Alameda, named Shipyard. And they have a picture there of I think it's the Apollo flight with the Buzz and Neil were on. But anyway, there is one image there that shows black people getting on.
So people with dark skin getting off,
Not dark,
black skin,
really black. You know?
were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall?
Now, if you pay attention to body language, he was talking normal, everything's fine. Now look, his hands up by his face. He leaned up really close to her, like black people getting on. She said, and you know, she's trying to, you know what I mean, spin it any way possible. Like, you mean dark people? Like, she'd be like, Italians, you know, like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? He
Trying to
said,
find any way to wiggle in for hope.
Con. He said, not dark, black. And he sits back in the seat, hands in his mouth, like he's nervous. And keep in mind, he said, this is critical. You know what I mean? The scientists will agree with me. This is critical. You know what I mean? And she got it out of him. Like, what do you mean? What's critical? We got pictures of black people getting off. Right? Let's continue on. He said, now he talks about how tall they are.
Hey, Salakia King, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, Elder.
In white people's mind, this is a nightmare. Remember, they've always been told that they're superior. They know how they treated black people. They know how they treated black people. Now, if you got black people coming off the ships, and all their life they've been taught that they're superior, this goes against what they have been taught. It's a scary thing for them because they know damn well how they treated black people, man. This is scary for them, man. This is real scary for these devils, man.
Con. Absolutely. And he sits back. He looks scared. He looks nervous, you know? And she's like, wait a minute. Not dark black.
You know?
Yeah,
Well, what,
I'd tell you, say, 7 feet would be, maybe conservative, so.
have you heard about Clark McClellan's statement about that?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Have you ever been in touch with him?
No.
No?
I'm trying to stay independent and not be affected by others' opinions.
Mhm.
I would rather have what I present clash with somebody else and see who wins
Okay.
and settle it that way,
Hmm.
rather than make a shoving match over it.
Sure.
I learned the games that the longer you shouted, the more probable it was that you would get your way. And I don't want to go through that routine.
Okay, well, good for you.
Good for you. He's so not happy. She is not feeling that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, but you know what? The she devil, excuse me if any sisters are on there. The she devil believes she can sell her box to any black man, even the angels. You know what I mean? So the she devil, she's looking, but in her mind, she thinks no black man can resist her, man. Even black men coming off of ships. That's how the she devil has been taught to think. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy. But they in for a rude awakening. They in for a rude awakening.
uh, uh. So the next uh video, right, is pretty far out there. I don't know if anybody's heard of it yet, but this has been going breaking the internet. You know what I'm saying? Breaking the internet. And this happened in Panama. Okay. A meteor, there have been meteor showers, right? We've been having some meteor showers um that have been taking place, as of late. We have 3I Atlas, right? That's coming from as an interstellar object coming from outside our solar system, coming in hot. Okay. Right now there's a comet that's going to pass by the Earth on the tomorrow, actually, to the 18th. It's very large, and you probably could see it with the naked eye. But keep in mind, when you see one comet, there are many comets along with these comets. There's not just one, right? And 3I Atlas is not acting like a comet. It has its own light source on the inside. It has carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, Salakia, coming off of it. It's not acting like a comet. It just turned green all of a sudden. Okay. The way it's passing by using the gravitational pull of all the other planets, it actually is a one in like 20,000 chance that it happened naturally. So people are really paying attention to it. They call it 3I Atlas because it's the only third interstellar object documented after Oumuamua, and another one is a Russian name is number 2, and this is the third one. Very strange, very unique, and this next video it looks like an alien invasion. I think it's a chariot as well. I think it's a chariot. This next video, I'm gonna tell you off top, it's very strange, but just because it's strange doesn't mean it isn't true. And if it is true, you can bet your bottom dollar that there's more of these things hitting the earth and growing than just this one. Okay. And we'll, you know, like out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, we're going to see. Okay. Let's get Zechariah 2 and 10.
God.
After
Oh,
after
after?
you see this, it's gonna be strange, okay? But we'll see. I'm gonna keep my eye open. You keep your eyes open. If you see anything, please send it to me because this is very strange. All right. Let's bring that out, King.
Done.
Like right
This is the
on
book of Zechariah, chapter 2 and verse 10. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion. For lo, I come and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith Yahweh.
Khan, go ahead.
And many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people. And I will dwell in the midst of thee, and thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts have sent me unto thee.
Khan. All right. So Yahweh Shem El Shai. We're in many nations, right? We're scattered abroad. Okay. And everybody's going to bow down, regardless. Okay. Doesn't matter what nation, nationality, race, whatever, they're going to bow down, you know, and pay reference to the higher power. Go ahead.
Khan. Verse 12. And the Lord shall inherit Judah his portion in the Holy Land, and shall choose Jerusalem again.
Khan, now everybody's chosen. Khan, it's us. Khan, go ahead.
Be silent, O all flesh, before the Lord, for he is raised up out of his holy habitation.
Khan. So also keep in mind, right, along with the coming of Yahweh Shai, right, there's going to be plagues. This thing looks like a plague. It looks like Venom. You ever see the movie Venom, the movie and the comic book Venom?
Khan. The symbiote.
Khan, that's what it's called?
Yeah, it's called a symbiote.
Khan. This thing looks crazy. So it's a couple minutes. I might fast forward do the time, or I might just let it rock out, but we'll see. Check it out. Of course, Esau doesn't believe in anything, so keep that in mind. Esau tried, I don't think it's real, da. One day in Panama. All right. This is in Panama. And if you haven't heard about it, trust me, you're going to. You're going to hear about it soon. Oh, matter of fact, you're going to hear about it tonight. All right. Most High willing. Here we go. Stock it. There we go. Started with
Been away for a couple of weeks now, and since then, the avian situation went kin in Panama. So we have first thought with.
There we go. All right, let me rewind at the beginning, let Esau talk.
I've been away for a couple of weeks now, and since then, the avian situation went to another different level.
Corre, ven a ver. ¿Qué?
So this man named Kin in Panama saw what he at first thought was just a meteor falling from the sky. He records this thing, runs over to it. The next day he finds it and takes it home. So he takes this thing home, and guess what he does? He starts experimenting with it.
Algo me preocupa es que algún día se desprenda de la roca.
Turns out that after experimenting with this thing on the microwave, throwing chemicals at it, he finds out this thing isn't just a space rock. Something started growing from within the rock, something that he believes to be an alien-like creature.
Jamás de pensar que esto nació de un meteorito.
For the past couple of weeks, this bizarre story has been taking over the internet, and obviously people are freaking out over it. On September 13th, Kobe posted this. Honestly, this kid might be sitting on one of the biggest discoveries of mankind. This UAP is alive. Just a few hours ago, on September 15th, John posted this to Twitter. So now this guy is driving around scared, no sleep, in Panama with the alleged whatever alien that is growing out of the alleged meteor that he found inside of a burning hole. Fiction or not, it seems that a lot of people are invested in this story. So I decided to deep dive into this bizarre situation, trying to find out what exactly is going on down in Panama, and why are we seeing more of these meteors falling all over the place. And what I found out is actually quite disturbing.
Look, it stopped.
That has to be the. Oh, it did stop.
It stopped and it looked at us.
What the hell is that?
Going deeper into this rabbit hole, I found out that it's been around 7 months that strange things have been going on in the sky and in space.
Gente, o que é isso no céu? Um monte de negócio abóbora. Que isso? Um monte de barulho.
7, completion, perfection.
No, I thought that was the bat signal.
Just this last week, there were dozens of really strange.
Now we know that, Salakia, that's the Twin Towers lights. So there's misinformation involved, so get past that.
Sightings all over the world. And just 7 months ago, I don't know if you remember this, satellites started falling from the sky at a very alarming rate. And then we had the airplanes, and now we have what appears to be comets or meteors that are apparently falling all over the place.
Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has suggested the 3-Eye Atlas is actually some type of alien technology.
Is this all just a coincidence, or is there actually something going on up there in the sky? So I decided to deep dive into this, and I guess the first place to start is Ken Panama's profile. So this is Ken's profile, and he's been uploading videos, normal vlog type videos ever since. So he's always outdoors, and this is something I observed. And around the month of August, September, he starts uploading these kind of freaky videos where he found this object.
Ken, corre! Ven a ver! Ken!
So just after that, he takes this thing home, and I guess a lot of people would do the same.
A nuestro visitante interplanetario. ¿Qué están haciendo? Testigo de este hallazgo aquí en Panamá.
Seems like a pretty normal rock.
Me toca estar bien una universidad, la Universidad Internacional. Próximo.
So I guess he actually took it to the university. Let's take a look at his next videos.
Todo ha cambiado de color y me di cuenta que destruye todo lo que es planta. No se puede acercar a una planta porque la mata. Miren ustedes.
Is he actually touching it with his bare hands?
Totalmente a lo que es orgánico, como que lo destruye. Pero cuando tú lo agarras, lo quema. Eso es lo extraño.
So at this point, a lot of people are still skeptical about this, including me. But that same week, he starts performing a series of tests and experiments on this thing. And like anyone else, he's pretty curious about the place where he found this.
Les voy a enseñar algo de otro mundo. Aquí en el lugar donde cayó el meteorito hace varios días. Cuando yo apago la luz, miren cómo se ve. Es algo totalmente increíble. Es un material que brilla. Un mineral, no sé qué es lo que está brillando ahí, es una locura. Me da miedo ya. No sé qué material es esto, es increíble.
Bro, if this is really a meteor, you should definitely call authorities.
¿Tienes una explicación que yo sepa?
So at this point, a lot of people in the comment section are asking him to do more experiments with the rock and thinking that maybe this is just a space rock. Why not? This is what happens.
Ahora que lo he puesto a tomar sol, veo que le están haciendo una especie como de orquídea o planta parásita. Pero crece muy rápido.
Baby man, baby.
Bajo el sol.
What the hell is that? That is really weird. Does not look like maybe a fungus. So in his next videos, this thing starts growing rapidly and actually moving by itself
Para los que me han escrito que quieren comprármelo, no está a la venta. Estoy esperando a las personas correspondientes para que le hagan su estudio. Estoy tratando de buscar los contactos o los contactos que me localicen. Eh, Hoy voy a llevármelo. Y algo me preocupa es que algún día se desprenda de la roca. Pero por ahora no. Por ahora le mantengo su crecimiento paralizado, pues no lo dejo tomar mucha luz. Cuando toma luz solar, crece. Por eso que lo mantengo en la oscuridad. Esto no se alimenta.
Oh my gosh.
Esto no respira. Esto no toma agua. Solamente lo que recibe energía es como de la luz.
Look at that. So there's people in the comment section saying that this is what this thing is. Let's check this out. Okay, maybe it is, it's not red. So after this video, and this was about a week ago, Kin's life turns upside down. This thing grows really fast, and turns out it's not the fungus people thought it was.
Mira. Evi, ¿qué pasa? Ahora le enseño el frasco que antes era, ya necesito ponerlo. Hoy, desde hoy le estoy colocando eso. Yo nunca había hecho live.
More and more, this thing started looking like something out of a sci-fi movie, and Ken started doing live streams of this thing, which would mean that if this is fake, it would be a very, very elaborate hoax. But several people in the comment section were trying to prove that this was actually a hoax. Some posted pictures like this one saying that this is a wire. I don't see it. If you do, please do leave a comment. That's for the video. It seems like he's trying to avoid this region with the camera, but then he pans over.
Nunca había hecho live.
Yeah, I don't see a wire there, but I could be wrong. If you see one, leave a comment. What I do know is that by now, he's got millions of views in these videos and people are watching, including people who might be interested in taking samples of this thing. And this is what happens. Where is it? What? What is that? My gosh, this thing is huge. A few days later, and something really strange happens, and he posts this video.
No dejen que borren los videos. No dejen que borren los videos.
All of a sudden, Ken goes from making nice videos experimenting with this thing to actually running away with it, saying that TikTok is actually censoring and deleting his videos. In his next video, he makes it quite clear someone is following him.
Yo estoy bien. No se preocupen, yo estoy bien. La cosa es que no se lo llevaron, yo lo tengo. Yo lo tengo, no dejen que se lo lleven. Apaga el celular, pero no se preocupen.
So not only is he apparently running away from someone who's trying to take this thing away from him, he's also having this thing where TikTok is blocking and deleting his videos simultaneously. This all sounds pretty sketchy, and this was uploaded a day ago.
Your attention, please. Your attention, please. Save the videos. Save the videos.
Now, why would TikTok delete his videos? I mean, there's a bunch of fake stuff there. Why delete his? In his next video, something bizarre happens.
Una amiga me está ayudando y me está dando refugio aquí. Aquí no vive nadie. Y lo que tengo, yo creo que no ha crecido tanto. No permito que haga luz. En la mitad de esta ventana sí tuve que poner unos cartuchos.
What's going on?
Ahí me están esperando. Me trajeron un maletín y quiere que le dé las muestras y voy a entregar meteorito.
What, are you kidding me?
Espero que esté bien resguardado en buenas manos.
So Kin isn't exactly very clear, but it seems as if he's being followed around and he stays at a friend's house without giving much information. While doing so, he gives a sample out to an anonymous source that apparently contacted him in the beginning of this entire thing. Maybe he's feeling pressured by all of this and he just doesn't want to have the entire thing with him anymore. The problem is, Kin's videos have already drawn a lot of attention, and right now he is basically on the run. No one knows where he is. He's not staying at home anymore, and he's basically driving this thing around, feeding it. And this is one of the reasons people are freaking out.
Increíble lo que estoy haciendo.
So I understand this is the place where he's got this thing now. Ken, do not show your license plate.
A ver cómo está.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Is this thing actually breathing? This is so bizarre.
So yeah, I don't know what that is, but if it starts showing up in different cities in different countries, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely a plague that will be taking over Egypt. Do you understand? Now, the movie The Blob, right, came out I think in the 50s or something like that. That movie is literally based on a true story, and it happened in Philadelphia on Vere Street down in South Philly. Feel free to look it up. And the reason why it has so much validity in it is because there were police officers that seen it, and I believe it was purple, if I'm not mistaken, and it jumped on a pole and disappeared right in front of them as they're looking at it. And also something happened, I believe, in Kansas City, something similar to that. So whatever this is, I'm not sure. We'll play a couple more minutes of it, and we'll move on.
Yeah. Can I urge you, if this is real, and I'm guessing it isn't, but if it is, you should contact someone.
Unos cartuchos en la ventana.
What are you doing, Ken? I mean, I totally understand. Having an alien for yourself is like maybe one of the coolest things after watching a bunch of alien movies, right? But I don't know if this is a smart move. Oh my gosh, Ken. That does not look fake to me, but so this is basically his last video for now. But the question that everyone's asking is this real or not? And I'd say that this is possibly fake. Let's just say that it's real. Is there any evidence to back this thing up? I would start with the 3i Atlas comet.
It's just a matter of weeks before the unique interstellar comet known as 3i Atlas is expected to pass closest to the sun between the orbits of Mars and Earth. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has suggested that 3i Atlas is actually some type of alien technology.
3i Atlas 60-second update. If you're like most people and going, what the hell is happening? 1, it's producing methane. I don't remember the last time a comet, a meteor, or an asteroid produced methane. 2, it's producing its own light source, and it's producing it from within. I don't remember the last time a comet, meteor, or asteroid did that. 3, it's speeding up and slowing down. It's changing course and then correcting its course. I don't remember when an asteroid, meteor, or comet ever did that either.
Yeah, so I get it. So this 3i Atlas isn't a comet, and this is being said by this guy.
Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has suggested that 3i Atlas is actually some type of alien technology.
Wait a minute. So if this thing is actually an alien comet, it's going to be around in about 2 weeks. It's pretty possible that this thing. Wait a sec. There it is. Manhattan-sized interstellar object 3i Atlas could release many probes that hit Earth, experts warn. Oh my gosh, so this was on September 5th. This was like a few days just after Ken saw the meteor falling. It could either visit us or release some mini probes that arrive to Earth and appear as UAP. Oh my gosh, so this could literally be what's going on with Ken. But if this is the case, there should be more of these mini probes being spotted on Earth. Oh my gosh, so far this one. On September 13th, a UFO was shot down in China. Residents of several areas in Shandong Province, mainland China, witnessed a rare aerial phenomenon on the night of September 12th. Many witnesses reported seeing a bright point of light moving rapidly across the sky. So there's a bunch of videos. Let's take a look at this. Oh wow. Several videos actually. Yeah, what was that? So this was apparently posted by a Chinese military who is very active on Twitter, and she shared a video showing the incident. She says it was an interception of something without saying exactly what it was. So this is like one of those mysteries we will never know, I guess. But I remember seeing more of these things falling around. Yeah, this was 4 days ago in Saudi Arabia. This actually looks like the same thing in China. This is kind of creepy. So apparently there's something going on in the first week of September, and this was posted on September 1st. It's apparently in Brazil.
Gente, o que que é isso no céu? Monte de negócio abóbora.
Yeah, they look exactly like the same thing in Saudi Arabia and in China.
Que isso? Monte de barulho.
I saw one of them blinking up there. What is going on?
São várias bolinhas de, como se fosse de fogo.
On August 13th, this account posted a video. People are saying this is a real TR3B. Let's take a look at this. Where is this? It's like one of those drones. Yeah, that was not a plane. 3 days ago, posted by Larissa Jones, and I'm not sure where she is at, but I'm guessing the US.
No, I thought that was the bat signal, bro. Oh my gosh.
Twin Towers.
Pretty sure that's not a UFO or anything like that. That's just most likely a strobe light coming out of a building.
All right, we're good with there. You know what I mean? Another thing he debunks is that light that was going on in the mountains in I think Brazil or something like that. It was an AI channel. Okay. So, but that's interesting stuff. You know what I mean? Let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 16. we'll start at verse 1. You know, there's going to be plagues sent to the United States, you know what I'm saying, to Babylon and worldwide. So right now, this one's in Panama. Whether it's true or not, we'll see. You know what I mean? The future will tell. Time will tell. Salakia. All right. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe to thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with clothes of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. I don't think a bullet's going to stop that thing. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? Okay, so we shall see whether it's legit or not. It looks pretty crazy. If he was able to do all that on live and have that fire burning the ground and then turn the lights on and it's glowing in the dark, that's a lot going on. So we shall see. Only time will tell. I know it's late. We're gonna one more video and we out. Okay. We're gonna get Obadiah chapter 1 verse 8. And like I said, a sword is sent, and who may stop it? You know what I'm saying? Earlier today rather, police sent out a warrant in York County, Pennsylvania, right? I thought originally it was in York, Pennsylvania, which is like, it's like a city, you know what I mean? Like Philly. And I'm like, oh man, you know, what happened in York, you know what I'm saying? But this is York County, which is further out and very rural area, okay? We're gonna get Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. So three cops got killed, and two of them are in critical condition. So it might be 5. You know what I'm saying? To get 5 cops is very you know, like John Wick type stuff, you know what I mean? But here's the press conference, or I don't think it's a press conference, just the report on it. And let's get Second Ezra chapter 5 on deck.
Building, can anyone confirm? I think this is
Breaking news out of York County, Pennsylvania. Just moments ago, state police confirmed that 3 police officers are dead. 2 others are in critical condition, all after being shot. Police shot and killed the gunman. There is no current threat, they say, to the community. Now, police were on the...
Now, the initial reports was the gunman turned it on himself, but, you know, it kind of just happened, so who knows what's the, you know, Esau lie anyway, but I guess we'll find out later on.
Scene on a rural farm to issue some sort of an arrest warrant over a domestic dispute. Apparently, they had been on the property the day before. There are reports they were there to arrest somebody for the charges of stalking and criminal trespassing, leading to speculation perhaps that the suspect had been lying in wait for the police. This is a rural area of Pennsylvania. It is about 115 miles west of Philadelphia. York County is the site. This is how one neighbor described the shooting.
When I passed the barn, I heard gunshots within a few minutes, and I saw an officer go down on the road, in the middle of the road. Pretty alarming.
So, of course, you know, a lot of people are cracking up. A lot of mass shootings. There was a mass shooting in Minnesota. You know, Fox News commentaries were saying, you know, oh, if people don't want to be, if they're homeless and they don't want help, then we should lock them up and everything. And another guy said, or you know, they don't want our help, throw them in jail, something to that effect. That was Jake saying that. Might have been Ham, I don't know, but it was a black man, you know, saying, you know, inflammatory stuff about homeless people, unhoused people. And then Esau chimes in and say, yeah, we should give them a involuntary injection, lethal injection, like to kill them. And then not too long after that, somebody shot up a homeless shelter. So people are really cracking up, you know what I mean? Charlie got killed, you know what I'm saying? Charlie got shot in the neck. The brother down there in Mississippi got hung, you know what I mean? First initial reports is that they told the family that he died in his dormitory, and then come to find out he's hanging from a tree, so they already started off lying. So definitely keep your eyes open, because you know Esau is a cunning hunter, and for whatever reason, I mean, we already know what the reason is, but a white man shoots another white man, and then they're threatening HBCUs. White man shoots another white man, and they're hanging brothers down in Mississippi. So we understand that they were just waiting for this time period, even though, like, how would this Jacob's trouble and how would the hate towards us manifest to a level such as that? Here we are. Do you know what I'm saying? Here we are. So they're calling for a civil war, so forth and so on. But Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, he has that Uno reverse card. You know what I'm saying? You kill kill a brother, and five officers get shot. You know what I mean? 2 in critical condition. So it might be 5 gone. You know, so always keep in mind that the Most High has our back. You know, we got to follow these law, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability to have that protection of the Most High and the angels in these last days. You know what I'm saying? So we should be aiming for that level of perfection so we can get that protection. That rhymed. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. Okay, so we all understand that the land is definitely barren of faith. You know what I'm saying? The truth, they're saying that Charlie Kirk is, he's up there with shaking hands with Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? It's Malcolm X, Jesus, and Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? And they got white Jesus out there. So, still hiding the truth of who Yahweh Shai is and what he looked like. Isaiah 63 said he's gonna make a hell of a mess. He's gonna make a mess in Basra. You know what I mean? These Edomites got a lot to pay for. So, he's not up there shaking the hands with Charlie Kirk. But also says, of course, that people that dwell on the earth shall be taken in great number. Even though 3 isn't a lot, 3 cops is most certainly a lot. You know what I mean? And potentially 5 cops is most certainly a lot. So we're in that time period. All right. Home Yashala, we got next. We're going to close out in prayer. So if you want to stand and face the east, prostrate and face the east, you can do that now.
Hey, Shalakia, can I get a precept real quick?
Khan, absolutely.
Absolutely. Can I get Isaiah 49:26? One of my favorites. This is what happened today with them cops, man.
Khan. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 49 and 26. And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh.
The cops, they've always oppressed us. They're always killing us. They've been used since the days of slavery to round us up and to do what they want. Read that again.
And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh.
With their own flesh. 5 cops, 3 cops down, 2 to go. Read on.
And they shall be drunken with their own blood.
And they shall be drunken with their own blood, because they pursue blood. Blood has come upon them. You know what I'm saying? We can go through many scriptures, but all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You see that he's avenging us every day. Kom Yasharala.
Khan. Kom Yashala. Yes. Yeah, that's a heavy precept, King. The water. Khan. All right. You see what it is, you know what I mean? The more they push back on us, the more Yahweh Shema Shai is gonna push back on them. It's gonna be plagues on the earth. Some amazing things gonna be seen in the sky. It was a butterfly, a huge butterfly on the sun. You know what I mean? And I see that as, what a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. You know what I'm saying? So the change, the metamorphosis, from us being at a lower state to us being on top, is coming, Israel. You can see it, you can smell it, you can feel it, you can cut it with a knife. You know what I mean? It's in the air, change is in the air. So just stay focused and pray. You know what I mean? Fast, pray, fast, meditate, read the scriptures, repeat. Okay? And we all know that a high holy day is on its way. You know what I'm saying? The new moon, 7th month, blowing of the trumpets. So prepare yourselves. All right. So we're gonna pray, and then anybody that's on the YouTube, come on over to the Zoom. We're gonna have a quick announcement of a few things. All right, that's not gonna be on the internet. Before you do, make sure you leave a like, comment, share, subscribe on the video. Kwame Ashala. This is the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malachbaka, Daba'a, Ratazayaka, Ayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawa, Ayah, Bashemayim, Natananawa, Lacham, Kau, Yawam, Wasalaf Nawa, Kabawaf Nawa, Kasalaf Nawa, Kabawaf Yinawa, Wala'a, Daminawa, Banasai one, a ball, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwaf, Wa'ala, Watapalarov, La Walamyam, Amen. This book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. O Lord, Yahweh, Bashem, Mashiach, Yahweh bring down Esau and the other nations. Have them fall from grace, literally, out of these planes that they're flying around, knock them out the sky, vex them on earth. If that um, if that meteor with that alien was legit, let many more of them come down and completely decimate this planet and this and Babylon, this wicked place.
Salaki, Sergeant. Also, I don't know if you brought out, but maybe next time about Trump when he talked about he's making his list after the
Let the Most High completely decimate this planet.
I went out, King. You heard me?
Yeah, I
Salaki.
was in the middle of saying a prayer.
Oh, I thought you was done. Oh, Salaki, Salaki.
Huh. Completely decimate this land of Babylon. Keep watch over the 12 tribes of Israel that aim to be righteous. Protect and uh, build them up emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, mentally, in all aspects. Increase their faith, the trust in you, and the visions. Increase the visions, increase the dreams. Give us the hope of a better tomorrow, even in the face of this tyranny and evil, wicked rulership that these Edomites have us under right now. Baruch Kashar, Baruch Kashar, Baruch Kashar, hear our prayers. In Yahweh's name we pray. Amen.
Man, Salaki King, I thought you had finished the prayers, but all praises. Salaki. Yeah, but it ain't nothing. I was just talking about how Trump is talking about he's making a list for everybody that's speaking hate now since the Charlie Kirkland thing. Now he got a list that they're forming, and they're gonna start so-called rounding up people. So maybe that's some information. I'll probably bring that out at the blowing the memorial trumpet. I'll bring that out.
God, all praises. Yeah, people getting fired, and yeah, it's just crazy. And I'm pretty sure that list of people that didn't take the jab and that talked about Charlie Kirk, we're probably on the top of the list of a lot of things that they want to bring out. But as soon as the enemy comes in like a flood, the Most High gonna lift up a standard. Believe that. All right. So everybody that's on YouTube, Kwame Yashala, we got next. Shalom.